Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy. Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.
WBSM presents The Tim Weisberg Show, streaming live on WBSM.com and the WBSM app. Call 508-996-0500. Send us app chat messages and open line voicemails using the WBSM app. Now, The Tim Weisberg Show.
Good morning. Welcome into the program. Happy Tuesday to you. Happy primary day. It's time to, well, not time yet, but soon will be time to get out and vote if you haven't already. Cast your ballot in the presidential primary. That'll be happening today. And, of course, here in Massachusetts, if you are unenrolled, you have the opportunity to take either the Democrat or Republican ballot, which I know it's going to seem a little confusing when you go into the polling place and you say, oh, I'll take this one or I'll take that one, because the colors in the Massachusetts ballots are a little bit opposite. The Democrat ballot is a reddish color at the top, and the Republican one is a bluish color at the top, but it's got nothing to do with the red and blue kind of assignments that we give to the parties. It's got nothing to do with that. These colors have been on these primary ballots long before that became kind of a thing. So don't be concerned if they hand you one with the color that you weren't expecting. It's not like they're exactly blue or red either, so. But it's okay. Just make sure it says the right party at the top that you're looking for and has the right candidates on it. Now, the question is, how many people will turn out to vote today? How many people will actually bother to go out and cast a vote for what is a foregone conclusion, pretty much at this point, that we are going to have President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump facing off in November? Keep in mind, there are other important things on the ballot. You've heard a lot of conversation on South Coast Now with Chris McCarthy about the Republican and Democratic State Committee. That's an important factor in this. And I think if you are someone who is civic-minded at all, someone who is a regular voter, you know that even though this is a foregone conclusion, you still play a part in casting that vote. And believe me, it's not going to take you long to get out and vote today. If you're going to go on the way to work, it'll probably take you more time to go through the drive-thru and get a cup of Dunkin' coffee than it's going to take you to go in and vote. I mean, I guess it all depends on where you vote and how far you have to park. But most polling places have parking immediately available. Yeah, you got to get out of the car. You can't just do it at a drive-thru like you can getting your Dunkin' coffee, but it's probably going to take less time. Whether you go now, well, when the polls open, whether you go early in the morning or whether you go on your way home from work, or if you show up at 7:45 right before the polls close, you're going to be able to breeze in. And, of course, I will remind you, if you are unenrolled, I don't know if it's still this way. It's been 4 years since there was a presidential primary. But I believe it is. If you are unenrolled and you pull a particular party's ballot, I believe you have to have them check the box off to make sure that you remain unenrolled. So just make sure that happens. You don't want to have anything screw up your ability to vote, because that happened to me. There was an issue with me being able to early vote because when I went to the registry, there was an unnecessary change of address, and I have to now go and vote where I used to vote instead of where I've been voting for the past couple of years. It's all confusing. I'll fix that after I vote, because I was kind of in that in-between period where I couldn't do anything about it. And if I had gone to change my address then, I wouldn't have been able to vote in the primary, so now I have to go vote in the former place and then change it afterwards. So, thanks. The RMV certainly has its issues, but it's so much better than it was in the past. When I renewed my license on my birthday back in January, I cruised in and out. But they had computer issues the whole time, so I don't blame them. It's probably just something reset when it wasn't supposed to reset. But yes, get out and cast your primary ballot. Vote today if you have not already. I don't know how much people are going to be glued to watching the results. I don't know how many people are going to be watching to see all the Super Tuesday numbers roll in later on this evening. But like I said, it's kind of a foregone conclusion. I don't think anybody's holding on for a nail biter. It's really just a matter of whether or not Nikki Haley sticks around in the race, which it seems like she's planning on doing. But as we discussed yesterday, that all depends on how much people are going to keep donating to you. It all depends on how much money people are going to give you to remain in the race. Now, are there enough people who don't want to see Donald Trump win that they might keep donating to Nikki Haley and keep her around until the convention? Or will people say, I don't want to throw money at something that's a lost cause? You know, you heard the conversation yesterday here on WBSM that she's building a profile for 4 years from now. So that's part of it, too. You don't want to look like a quitter if you plan on coming back in 4 years. I think we can all, understand neither Joe Biden or Donald Trump are coming back in 4 years. Whichever one loses probably isn't going to try to run again. So she's just trying to make her case at this point for the future. And just in case something happens. As we were saying yesterday, should something happen with Donald Trump and he can't be the candidate, or if the party would prefer that he isn't the candidate, which they're kind of insulating against that. But if that was the case, she would be the next logical choice because she's been out there garnering support. But again, you'll need to stick around and have the money to do so. By the way, if you missed it, Donald Trump was on WBSM yesterday. No, that's not a joke. It's not the Win Trump's Money promotion. He was on the Howie Carr show. And if you missed that, you can check out the podcast of it at HowieCarShow.com. And you can hear his conversation with Howie. I caught a little bit of it. I was actually doing some audio production, so I had headphones on. But I did catch a little bit, and it's worth the listen. 508-996-0500. Good morning. You're on WBSM.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing okay.
She would not be a logical choice for anybody with a brain, Mr. Weisberg, okay? Let's see. Do you think those colors...
Do you think that it would, be fair to have somebody kind of starting from scratch that hadn't been a candidate and hadn't been out there in the public eye and hadn't stated their case?
I'm talking about female, Mr. Weisberg. A female is not right for this time around, not now. And I think you know that too. Why are you defending her?
I don't
she can't even
know
use
that.
her rightful name, and you know it. So it's a nickname, big deal.
Okay, first of all,
she's trying to hide it. You can tell that.
First of all, let me tell you what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to add a little interest to something that seems like it's already decided. I'm trying to make something that doesn't seem to have any interest in it seem at least a little bit interesting.
Well, why do you waste your vote then? You're wasting your vote then.
No vote is ever wasted.
Well, if you're voting for a female right now at this point in time.
Well, hold on. We'll get into that in a minute. But I want to go back to the whole not using her real name thing. This is such a Donald Trump racist approach to take.
Oh, here we go.
It is. Why do you want her to use her real name?
Why? Why not? Why not, Mr. Weiss?
Were you married?
You are who you are.
Were you married?
Yes, I was.
Did you take your husband's name?
No. When you explained it to me yesterday, you said she's always used her nickname.
She has.
When you're running,
it's not a nickname. It's not a nickname. It's her middle name. She goes by her middle name.
Right? You're not going to give me a lot of time to explain. But if you're going to run for the president of the United States, that's the biggest job in the land. Use your rightful name and be proud of it. Period. That's where I'm coming from. Now, when you talked about the colors that are on the ballot, you don't think that's on purpose so they can encourage people who are stupid enough?
No, it's not on purpose. Those have been the colors of the Massachusetts ballot since before we had these red and blue assignments for the parties.
Okay, it's different now. You just said it yourself when you first mentioned it.
No, you want to find a conspiracy or some sort of shady business behind everything. Mary. Nobody's going to get confused by the colors of the ballot. The people who are handing you the ballot will hand you the one. Well, so who's going to walk in and say, I'll take the red one or I'll take the blue one? First of all, they're not even red and blue. They're very not quite exactly those colors. There's shades of that color.
You didn't say that.
Yes,
That's
I did.
Not what you said.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't say they're not quite.
Yes, I did.
Blue.
Yes, I did.
And another thing, you said there'll be a face-off with Biden and Trump. Biden's never going to show up for no face-off with Trump, and you know that, unless he's got that earpiece in taking orders from Obama. That's what the man doesn't know what day it is. And you know that.
Okay, so
he's not going to face off.
We've got the women shouldn't be a president. We've got she's actually ashamed of her real name. We've got Obama's the real president. How long until we get into Michelle Obama's a man? What else? Are we going to get into the pizza shop? Are we going to get into eating babies in a pizza shop basement? Are we going to get into that too?
You won't accept the facts. You won't accept it.
I don't accept QAnon garbage like you spew.
Yeah, okay. Even poor Joan Rivers knew it and said it on her way into that clinic that murdered her. She said it right out on the news. Everybody heard it.
Oh, my God.
Okay, it's the truth, though. It is. And another thing, you're talking about the donations to Haley. Did you donate to that woman?
I don't donate to any political parties, to any political candidates.
Oh, that's nice. And then you mentioned, I want to get it all up because, the time. You were talking about, you can't go to Dunkin' Donuts and vote. I know that. But maybe in the future, the way things are going, you'll be able to go through the drive-thru, swipe your ID, and punch your vote in right on the board. That'd be something different. Huh? It'll come. So, I'm going to be going to do my voting today, but I'll be walking first. The rain doesn't bother me because I have to calm down. I had a bad afternoon yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And I know you're sorry. I have no comfort. Chocolate's not an option, so I don't know what the hell with it. The best years of my life are already behind me, so why do I struggle every freaking day? I think if I want chocolate today, I'm going to go get it, which is going to send me right off the rail, boy. I'll be eating it all freaking day long if I do that.
Do you ever eat the sugar-free chocolate?
I've done that. I was addicted for years. I had a bad addiction problem.
Is it any good? I don't really eat it.
It doesn't taste good at all, but you're so addicted you don't care. You eat it and you say, why am I eating this? Because it just tastes like crapola, you know? But it's the comfort that you think you're getting from it, and it's not. It's not the comfort I need. How about a hug? You going to hug me?
I'm giving you a hug right now.
Yeah. All right. Have a great day. Thanks for taking my call.
You as well. I hope the rain holds off for you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. And if I've never had, well, I think I have tried sugar-free chocolate. I'm not a huge chocolate eater anyway. Like, I'll eat it. It's not like I don't like it, but I'm not a big candy person. I'll eat it if it's there. Sometimes I might want a little, but I'm not a big candy eater. I will have it now, even though I'm, diabetic and losing weight, but it's only because I have it very rarely. If somebody has some peanut butter cups on their desk, yeah, I'll take one. But it's not a huge thing for me. My son doesn't eat candy at all. Like the whole time growing up as a kid, never touched candy. Didn't have any interest in it. He'd go trick-or-treating on Halloween, come home, and he would say, here, this is all yours. And it would be Easter before we would get through the Halloween candy. And then whatever he got for Easter, he'd be like, here. The only thing he ate was lollipops. He did like lollipops. So it was never really a big thing for me, so I'm not surprised that it's not a big thing for him. So it is the primary today. You can get out and vote. It's not going to take much time. It's not going to hold up your day. There's not going to be a line. There may be a few people when you go there, but it's not like I always go back to the 2000 presidential election when I waited in line for over an hour. Now, part of that might have been, the location might have been difficult for people to maneuver in and out of. It was in the community room of the Wareham Free Library. It's not like there's an in and an out, or maybe they did. Maybe they opened the side doors, but still, that could have been part of it. But the amount of people that wanted to vote that year was the most that I had seen. And I probably shouldn't have gone as late as I did. I used to always vote when I was out dropping off the food. But I just happened to be in school that day, so I didn't work the polls. I didn't deliver the food like I would normally do. So I said, well, I'll wait until my parents are ready to go. We'll all go together, because I still lived at home. I was in college. And so we all went together, and I'm glad we did, because it gave us something to do. Being able to talk to each other, stuck there in line for over an hour. And Larry David did not come and offer me a bottle of water. 508-996-0500. I've got to take a break here. We'll be back in a few moments. And welcome back in, 508-996-0500. Good morning. You're next on WBSM.
Hey, what's up, Tim?
What's going on?
Not much. I think Mary secretly is disappointed that she can't convert you. When you came back from surgery, it was just a big love fest.
Well, I get along with her fine, but sometimes we have disagreements, and I think we're going to disagree on some of the ways she looks at things.
So what were you saying about making sure that they check off the box to keep you registered unenrolled?
It's always been that way for me, because when you, I guess from my understanding, is when you take a party's ballot, if you don't request to stay unenrolled, then you're enrolled as part of that party.
So what are you saying? So if you register unenrolled, they can revert back to your previous enrollment?
No, I think if you take the Republican or Democrat ballot, whichever one you take, that's what they mark you down as for the future.
For the future.
So you have to just say, I'd like to remain unenrolled. Just double check. I don't know that that's still the case, but it's been that way for me in the past. So I always double check and say, I'm still unenrolled.
I don't know how true it is, but somebody told me that anytime somebody who's not registered to vote has an interaction with the DMV, that they automatically enroll them as a Democrat voter. Is that?
No, I don't think that's true.
No? Okay. Well, I know I know for a fact that they're enrolling them in something, whether or not they're registering as an unenrolled voter, but they're automatically enrolling them.
Well, there's a form on any of your license renewal forms that ask if you want to, if you need to be registered to vote.
Well, I don't know. From what I understood, they were enrolling people by default, just from the DMV interaction. So
I believe, and if anybody can call in and correct me on this, but I believe there's something on that box. I don't remember. I'll have to see if I can pull up a form online. But I believe there's something that you have to check off or sign to have your voter status changed. Yes.
Yeah, you might be right. I'm not positive. That's what I heard from a friend of mine, that their daughter went in for her first driver's license, and then all of a sudden discovered she was enrolled. So
now I will say, when I went and renewed my license, I did not want to change my voter change because I'd already changed to my new address with the with the elections office, and then the RMV changed it back to my previous address. But I think that was a computer issue because the computer system kept crashing while they were trying to renew my license. So,
and the DMV is 1,000 times better than it used to be.
Yes.
Remember the old Kings Highway days?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my Lord.
Kings Highway and the one downtown were always like, oh, I'm here for the rest of the day.
Oh, yeah. Seriously. And if you didn't like it, tough shit.
Right.
Show you the door.
You had no choice. All right. Well, thank you for the call. You have a good day.
Bye.
And if you want to call in, 508-996-0500. I'm going to see if I can pull up one of those forms, but I think you have to specify that you want to make a change. But again, as I said, mine got changed without wanting to. So it didn't change my party enrollment, though. It just changed my address. And because on my license, I was changing my address. Where I had moved, and my previous address was still on the front of my license. And to be honest with you, I never put a change of address sticker on the back. And so when I changed my address to my current address, for some which I had already registered to vote at, for some reason it went back to the previous address from my voting address. I don't know. It's just computer glitch, but it didn't change my party status, my unenrollment status at all. Wait, my enrolled as unenrolled status. Anyway, it's time to go to the news. 508-996-0500 if you want to call in. We'll be back in just a moment. But right now, Phil's going to give us all the headlines of the day.
Voters head to the polls for Super Tuesday. Texas immigration law could be headed to the Supreme Court. And more problems with Boeing.
From the WBSM Newsroom, this is WBSM News.
Today is Super Tuesday, the biggest day of the 2024 election nominating cycle. Results will be announced in a bunch of states and American Samoa. It's a big day for former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, who so far has only won one Republican contest in Washington, D.C. Texas's controversial new immigration law is likely headed to the U.S. Supreme Court. It allows local cops to arrest anybody they believe crossed the border illegally. It was blocked by a federal judge. That ruling has now been overturned. A federal appeals court giving the federal government 7 days to file a case with the Supreme Court. Colorado lawmakers are considering a bill that would grant personhood status to embryos and fetuses. It would classify an embryo or fetus as a person and allow prosecutors to criminally charge mothers for getting abortions. It also states that any judge in Colorado who overrules any provision of the bill will be subject to impeachment. Wyoming lawmakers have passed a bill that would add regulations to surgical and chemical abortions to the state's last remaining abortion clinic. The new bill, expected to be signed into law this month, would reclassify abortion clinics as ambulatory surgical centers. That would require doctors who perform abortions to be licensed and add criminal penalties for violations. Police outside of Nashville report several people are dead after a single-engine plane crashed Monday night along an interstate highway. Officials say the pilot reported engine problems and requested an emergency landing at an airport. Fire officials say the crash was catastrophic and there were no survivors. The FAA's audit of Boeing shows multiple issues with the manufacturer's production practices. The 6-week probe is in response to a door plug that blew out on an Alaska Airlines flight on January 5th. In the audit, the FAA says it found non-compliance issues in Boeing's manufacturing process control, parts handling and storage, and product control. And Apple is being slapped with a $2 billion fine by the European Union over music streaming apps. An investigation into Apple started in 2020 after Spotify filed a complaint saying it and other music streaming providers were forced to pay a 30% fee for purchases made using Apple's in-app payment system. Meanwhile, Apple Music did not have to pay the fee.
WBSM Sports, brought to you by Sparks Auto in Dartmouth.
The Boston Bruins beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-1 last night. They play the Edmonton Oilers tonight at 7:30. The Boston Celtics away to play the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's tonight at 7:30 as well. And today at 1 o'clock, the Boston Red Sox play the Tampa Bay Rays at spring training.
Now, your ABC6 South Coast forecast.
Good to be with you, everybody, on this Tuesday morning. We're dealing with fog. We're dealing with patchy drizzle. Temperature around 40. Poor visibility. Take it easy on the roads. Give yourselves extra time. We'll continue with that drizzle changing over to rain this afternoon. Temperature topping out around 50. The wind will remain out of the east overnight tonight. Cloudy rain. It will taper off as we head into the midnight hour, mid-40s. From the ABC6 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Ceci del Carmen on New Bedford's News Talk Station 1420 WBSM.
I'm Phil Devitt for WBSM News. Stay up to date with New Bedford's News Talk Station WBSM and get all of our content and breaking news alerts with the WBSM app.
Yeah. You feel it, baby? I can too. Swing.
And welcome back in 508-996-0500. Let's go to the phones here. Good morning. You're next on WBSM.
Morning, Tim.
How you doing?
Not bad. Happy Election Day.
To you as well. Well, primary day.
Primary election. So here is the deal in my house. Most of us in my house have voted, like in last presidential primary election, or at least the November election last time, right? We all voted for Biden. And this time, the entire house is not voting for Biden. And we're not voting for Trump, and the entire House is actually going to be voting for Haley today. So I know, my situation is not indicative of everybody else's situation, but I think she's going to actually have a better showing than what most people think in Massachusetts, especially in Massachusetts. Because even your Republicans who aren't part of the state party itself, they're literally going to vote for Nikki Haley, just like we saw with Jeff Deal when he ran for governor. When Jeff Deal ran for governor, Trump endorsed him. That turned off a lot of your moderate Republicans away from Jeff Deal and toward, this governor. I mean, Chris McCarthy. He voted for. He would have never voted for Haley if any other candidate was on the other ticket. But because Jeff Deal was such a bad candidate, we ended up having Jeff Deal versus Haley, and she walked right in. So my deal is with Haley. I think she could pull off a win in the Republican primary today, or at least really make it competitive.
Well, so what do you think would bolster her profile here? What do you think would be a strong showing across Super Tuesday that would spark more interest in her candidacy?
So I think I can speak for Massachusetts, but I don't know all the other states that are having a primary today. But I think in Massachusetts you have a more moderate-leaning Republican Party in the general population. People who are just registered Republican, they're not active in the party. They're not, the die-hard base of the Republican Party that goes to the town committee meetings or goes to the state committee meetings and all that stuff. These are just people who've been registered Republicans since they were 18 and they're, 45, 50 years old now. They're just moderate guys, moderate women who just, lean a little bit to the right, but they're moderate. They're in the middle. And Trump, his personality completely turns them off, and they won't vote for him regardless. And I think that'll help Nikki Haley. At least she is another option for that Republican, because they don't want to vote for Biden. I mean, I'm adamant that I will not vote for Biden in November, no matter what. And I know for a fact that a lot of the Republican Party that are moderates or liberal leaning, like a Rockefeller Republican, they will vote for Haley. But for the other, bunch of states, I have no idea, because I don't know where is Michigan today?
Yeah, they're Super Tuesday state.
Okay. It could be close there also. I mean, we don't know, because I don't know really the politics of Michigan or anything. I know that they're more of a blue collar state than, say, Massachusetts. Massachusetts more of an intellect. I say intellectual state, but like more of a white collar state, I would say, except for certain pockets.
I think that they're. By the way, I might have been wrong on them being a Super Tuesday state, but the thing that I find to be the most interesting about this is the fact that here we have somebody who is far, far away from the leader. Nikki Haley is nowhere close to garnering the support that Donald Trump has. Yet every Donald Trump voter and Donald Trump himself seem to be so afraid of her. Like, it's like, well, why doesn't she just go away? Like, why does she have to stick around? It's because they know that if she does hang around, she could be a spoiler of sorts. Maybe not all the way to November, but at least in the minds of people for now, the longer you have an alternative, the more people are going to think maybe that alternative is a better option. Right.
And I think with today being an open primary day in Massachusetts, a Democrat can vote in the a progressive, or maybe not even a progressive, but a slightly liberal independent unenrolled could vote for Haley. I keep getting the two mixed up. Nikki will vote for Nikki, not because they're trying to, spoil the Republican primary, but more because they're disenchanted with Biden. They don't want Biden. They don't think he should be the candidate for the Democratic Party. So they're going, the left-leaning independent will also vote for Nikki. That's what I think. In Massachusetts, I think that's their option, is because, and it's not, again, like I said, it's not to spoil the Republican primary. It's literally because they don't want Biden. So she's the other option, even for the other side. And one thing, actually, one of your previous callers brought up whether or not an unenrolled ends up, or you brought it up that an unenrolled, if you pick an unenrolled and you pick a ballot and they'll enroll you in that party that you pick, that could, I mean, I've heard the same thing. That could be true. And the reason why a lot of people are saying, hey, there's something nefarious going on here. I checked my enrollment status and I'm usually unenrolled, but now I'm a Democrat. See, but they may have pulled the primary ballot for the Democrat at one point, and it might have automatically enrolled them, and they didn't re-unenroll.
Because from my understanding, you have to be part of that party to take that ballot. So when you
Correct.
are unenrolled, what you're doing is you are joining that party for that day to take that
Correct.
that ballot. So that's why you have to say that you're unenrolled. And by the way, I looked up during the news. I looked up the license renewal form, and it does automatically register you to vote. It does send that information to the local voting office and the local elections office in that municipality. So that must have been, I don't know if that's something that changed with the law for giving licenses to people that aren't documented or what, but I remember having to sign the back of the form I believe it was a separate form that you filled out when you went there. So that's why this time I didn't even think about that box. So
my question is if if a license automatically gets you onto the voter rolls, an illegal immigrant can be on the voter rolls.
Well, no, because when what will happen is when it goes to that municipality for them to put you into the system, you would come up as not eligible to vote in their system. Basically, what they're saying is it's not the RMV's job to make that determination. It's the election office's job to make that determination.
Okay. And that would be determined how?
By whatever your residential status is and whatever you prove in the elections office, which when I went in to do it, I just had to show them something that said that I lived at that address. Right, exactly. So I don't know what else they were checking. I don't know. Well, do you have to give them your social security number? I don't remember. I'll tell you what. I'll update you when I have to go and fix it next week. Right, because I know when I first voted in Dartmouth when I moved back, I had to prove who I was initially when I went to vote. They actually had me pull out my ID when I registered to vote and say, make sure I was who I was. They don't check your status because, you can't really check your status with a driver's license at all, other than if you had a real ID. That's the only way. Well, I'll find out more about that and see what I can find out. I got to just hold you there because I got to take a break. All right, Tim. But thanks for the call. You as well. Take care. And caller, hang on. I will take you as soon as I come back from this break. We'll be back in a few moments. I'd be worried if I have two left feet. That'd be weird. Anyway, 508-996-0500. Good morning. You're next on WBSM.
Hi, good morning.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Haley's pretty polished. I have to admit, I listen to her talking because I know I'm not going to hear anything about the issues of the day, but I'm going to get a really good rundown on Trump and Biden and how they're just not making the grade. She's very good at that, and she's very believable. But as a serious candidate, I don't see it. With Nikki Haley, I think she reminds me of if you vote for her, you're voting for more than her. You're voting for what's inside, like an ATM machine. She's that kind of a thing. And the money's good, and she's going to stay in it because she won Washington, D.C. Some people say, well, that makes her the queen of the swamp. No, what it does, it makes her one of her donors identified as George Soros money. So she's taking in a lot of money from the Democrats because she is a big-time rhino. However, I think she loses traction when Robert Kennedy steps in further down. Like you had said, wait till November comes. Before November, Robert Kennedy will be talked about, and she'll be to the side. If she joins ranks with him, because she broke her pledge, with the pledge for Trump. If I lose this, and I throw my votes, I throw my delegates to Trump. She hedged on that. So right there, you see, her words are no good on a low level. Imagine on the national war front or something, and she is a war hawk. She sits on boards of corporations that make machines that kill people, and etc. But the thing is, she's very polished, and if I was not kind of a junkie on politics and do backstories on these people and politicians, I look at them as people first. that keeps me connected. I find that they're all kind of a uniparty. And if you remember somebody, I'm going to get a little segue here. Remember Gabby, when she left the party, the Democrat Party?
Mm-hmm.
Gabby left the party, but she did not go to Republicans. Said, "Why are you staying independent?" Because I'm out of it, she said. In other words, she left the uniparty because really Haley represents the uniparty, and the uniparty is has no scruples. She's a moderate Democrat, really, in my opinion, and the money's coming in to prove it. The deep pockets are coming in. She won D.C. That's probably her only victory the entire way. But she's building a war chest for something in the future, or just to live off of it, throwing parties and stuff. So what you're getting with her is someone who's very flawed. And it's Trump's own fault. Trump is the most terrible guy at appointing people. I mean, Nikki Haley was doing fine in South Carolina. Then a gentleman came into a church on a Sunday and killed 9 people. Remember the white guy killed 9 black people worshiping all amongst themselves? And Haley was the governor, and she succumbed to pressure and took down the Stars and Stripes, Stars and Bars flag off of the Capitol.
Let me ask you a question, because we're getting far left field here.
I won't go into the weeds too much, but Trump came in and sent her an ambassadorship to get her out of there to the United Nations.
All right, I'll hold you there just because I got to take a break here, but thank you for the call, and you have a good day. I just took a look at the clock and realized, I better put another break in here or I'm going to run out of time. We'll be back in just a few moments. 508-996-0500.
This is a story about Billy Joe and Bobby Sue. 2 young lovers with nothing better to do. Sit around the house, get high and watch a tune. And here's what happened when they decided to cut loose. They headed down to old El Paso. I swear they ran into a great big hassle. Billy Joe shot a man while robbing his castle. Bobby Sue took the money and run.
Well, we're going to take a break and run. Actually, I'm not going to run anywhere. Maybe I'll run to the restroom and refill my coffee, but don't go anywhere because Phil Devitt has all of your South Coast news coming up right after ABC News, and we'll take more of your phone calls at 508-996-0500.
Hey guys, time to get in on the action for the biggest moments in basketball with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. Just select 2 or more players. Pick more or less on their projections, place your entry, and win up to 100 times your money. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit of up to $100. Just download the Prize Picks app and use the code GET100. That's code GET100 on Prize Picks for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy.